public servants and other individuals. What happened to them now? What will happen to them?
Well, they will have to remove the tinted glasses in their vehicles, otherwise they can't drive them at all. Yes.
Okay. Well, previously, if I can remember vividly well, this is not the first time a directive of this nature
was. Indeed, it is not the first time, but this time around, we are going to implement it to the fullest.
Okay.
That's why if you would have noticed on Monday, there was this massive operation, and this is just going to bolster the fact that this thing is going to be put in place. So let all be warned that they should take this seriously. All those who had hitherto been given clearances to drive tinted glass vehicles, let them know that the clearance they were given is now considered null and void.
Invalid?
Yes, completely invalid.
When is this coming into force?
By Monday, latest.
Monday?
Monday. As a matter of fact, we have started, but then Monday, we are going to implement it to the fullest.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, unless you have something else to say to the drivers and the public.
All I will do is those who have tinted glass vehicles, I urge them to comply with these directives, because if they do, they won't have their time wasted, they won't have their cars impounded. All they need to do is just to comply, and then we'll have our smooth traffic, just as usual.
Police Public Relations Officer David Kujabi there on the new directive spelling out those qualified to drive tinted vehicles in the country. The next Operation Clean the Nation is slated for Saturday, 27th April 2013 throughout the country. A news release from the National Environment Agency states that the initiative has had very positive impacts on the health status of the general citizenry, and adds that many studies have confirmed that the main reason for the significant drop in malaria cases, as much as 40% in some places, can be mainly attributed to this initiative. The exercise dubbed Operation Clean the Nation, the dispatch adds, targets the root causes of vector-borne diseases by eliminating the breeding grounds of the insects that spread the diseases. The initiative, the dispatch argues, should therefore be supported wholeheartedly by all those residing in the Gambia, because the benefits are reaped by one and all. NEA reminds governors, Sefolu, Alkalolu, ward councillors, and government institutions of the strong presidential directives requiring all of them to organize and fully participate in the next national cleanup exercise within their respective areas of jurisdiction throughout the country, the release ends. We'll now take our first break. The news continues right after. Welcome back. Rescue workers at the collapsed garment factory in Bangladesh have found 50 survivors, with officials hoping to rescue them by Saturday morning. They've been trapped for more than 48 hours after the building caved in on Wednesday. Over 300 people are said to have died in the disaster. As we hear in this DWTV report, demonstrators have taken to the streets to demand safer working conditions in factories across the Bangladesh.
Anguish in Dhaka. Wednesday's factory collapse has unleashed protests against lax safety standards in Bangladesh's main industry. Police prevent demonstrators from reaching the factory. Protesters are demanding that the owners of the building be brought to justice, but they're reported to have gone into hiding. Amid the anger, relatives cling to hope. This man is waiting for news of his wife. And this woman wants to join the search for her missing husband. For a third straight day, firefighters combed the rubble for survivors. Many emergency workers used their bare hands to try and pull people from the ruins.
We're still trying to rescue people, and we'll stay here until we rescue everyone.
Amid the threat of a further collapse, the search for survivors is dangerous work. Dozens of people were extracted from the rubble on Friday. This is footage of the factory shortly before it collapsed. More than 3,000 people worked here, most of them women producing garments for discount stores in the West. A day before the disaster, workers discovered cracks in the structure. Police warned the owners, but they assured them it was safe. Officials say rescue efforts will end on Saturday, shifting to a salvage operation to retrieve bodies and remove the debris.
Dzhokhar Sarnaev has told investigators that he and his late brother had also targeted the Times Square as their next destination. The revelation came after the Boston Marathon attacks, which killed 3 people and injured more than 100 others. CNN's Mary Snow has details of that story in this report.
Of last week's manhunt for Tamerlan and Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, officials say New York City's Times Square was on the radar of both suspects. The city's mayor and police commissioner say they were informed by the FBI Wednesday night about information learned during questioning of Dzhokhar Tsarnaev.
He told the FBI apparently that he and his brother had intended to drive to New York and designate additional explosives in Times Square.
But the plan, say officials, offered no specifics and was described as spontaneous. The brothers, according to New York officials, talked about going to New York while they were driving in the Mercedes SUV they'd carjacked after allegedly killing an MIT police officer. They were said to have a handful of improvised explosive devices, including a pressure cooker bomb like the 2 used at the Boston Marathon and a number of pipe bombs, according to New York officials. When they stopped at a gas station, the carjacking victim escaped and put police on their trail. Tamerlan Tsarnaev was killed. His younger brother was captured hours later. Police say they believe Dzhokhar Tsarnaev made 2 previous trips to New York on or before April 18th of 2012. A photo from the trip obtained by police, and another trip in November of 2012. But authorities say they don't know if there's any connection between the trips and their alleged plans. The information about targeting Times Square is a reversal from what police said just the day before, that the brothers were heading to New York to party. Police Commissioner Ray Kelly said the New York plan was revealed during a second round of questioning.
The information we received is that he was a lot more lucid and gave much more detailed information in the second questioning period.
Still, New York Republican Congressman Peter King told CNN's Jake Tapper the city should have been informed earlier.
Even though it may or may not have been spontaneous, for all we know, there could be other conspirators out there, and the city should have been alerted so it could, go into its defensive mode, because no one does it better than the NYPD, but I think they should have been told earlier.
The NYPD says it's now investigating Dzhokhar Tsarnaev's past trips to New York City and who he may have been with. The police commissioner says that police have identified some of his acquaintances in the picture that they've obtained, but again stresses it's not clear whether there's any link. Mary Snow, CNN, New York.
It's time now for the weather forecast by the Central Forecast Office.
The source assures us of a continuous flow, and from there, everything follows. And for those of us who know what the River Gambia stands for, understanding its sustainability in all aspects of life is easily confirmed. The River Gambia provides nutritious delicacies as food, while it provides its wildlife a balanced ecosystem. This river, as a sanctuary, is committed to its inhabitants' needs without season. And as you travel along, all these values are replicated in one company, Elton. Just like the River Gambia, leads in its commitment to values that matter most. Elton, championing the vision for a new generation.
Hello there, wonderful viewers. Welcome to the weather segment. We experience a relatively cool and partly cloudy atmosphere in the morning and a warm and dry afternoon across the country.